How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Boylai Hobby Time. Today I'm going to be building the Refinery from episode 7 of the second season of The Mandalorian. I built the model for the Refinery on my iPad in Shaper 3D. This took a little longer than I had anticipated. Initially I was going to include the seismic charge exploding up in the air, taking out the TIE fighters. But I ran out of time this week, so I didn't get to include that. I will revisit the seismic charge. I would love to make one of those, or see if I could make it look convincing. But I'll save that for another video. I cut out all of the pieces of land that sit around the refinery out of some foam. This piece was not cut properly, so I shaped that again with the foam cutter. It's kind of a cool refinery. It sits on this hydro dam. It must be where it gets its power from to do its refining. And I cut out a little retaining wall around the outside. This will help hold in the resin for when I pour that in a minute. Mixed up some Mod Podge and light brown, which I used to cover all of the land areas. Did the same thing with some black paint and applied that to all of the water areas. Then I painted the refinery itself. After the paint was dry, it was time to move on to the resin. I mixed in different amounts of blue, green, and black till I found the color I was looking for. I then poured the resin into the water areas. I did make sure to seal up all of the sides really well with some hot glue. I probably should have put it on a disposable surface just in case. The resin tends to find any crack and get out of it. But I sealed it up pretty good, so no leakage. After that had cured, I used some gloss Mod Podge to create the texture on the surface of the water. I also used some Polyester Fiberfill that I pulled into little strands to create the water pouring out of the chutes beneath the refinery. Lastly, I added Mod Podge in kind of a concentric circle pattern away from the waterfall. And I painted on some white to add a little bit more of that whitewater turbulent look. After that was all dry, it was time to move on to the trees. I used some scenic glue, which is basically just really thick white glue. And I have some wargaming scale shrubs, which worked perfectly as full-sized trees in this scale. I also used some branches from some other tree sets that I got, and added a few different other colors to help make it look a little bit more natural. At the end, I added a little bit more fiberfill at the bottom of the waterfall to create some mist. I then printed and painted a Slave 1 and 2 TIE fighters that I built in Shaper 3D also. Then painted the outside of the whole diorama with black 3.0, and I added some really tiny wires to suspend the ships from. The last thing to do is to create the little explosion of rhydonium. I used an LED from a tea light candle, as well as some cotton, which I formed into a little smoke cloud, and I airbrushed it black. Also airbrushed the inside orange to help give it a little bit more of a fiery color. Put everything in place, and called it good. That is it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you have a great week. I will see you next time.